Chomp.
Hi everybody and welcome back to UR Supreme Toys. Today we've got a double unboxing. We're going to be looking at both versions of Elvira from NECA Toys. We're going to be looking at her iconic black dress and her red dress from this lovely Red Fright and Boo 4th of July edition. Now this version was due out really in the middle of the year and it was a little late. I just got it a few weeks ago and just now had time to try to go over it. I would have kept these in the box, but I purchased them online and the shipper jammed them in a box and dinged up the hooks really bad. Honestly, I don't even know why they have the hooks on the box. They really weren't necessary. I'm not like a huge Elvira fan or anything. However, this is a very iconic character from my childhood. She's very memorable, portrayed by the infamous Cassandra Peterson for over 40 years now. These figures are just gorgeous. The likenesses are fantastic. I can't believe that NECA is continually releasing figures with such wonderful likenesses of the actors and actresses that they license. Now these aren't your typical 7-inch scale figures. They are a tad taller. I was hesitant to pick these up because of that, and then I realized this is Elvira. She could be taller than anybody she wants to be. And the photography on these boxes is just wonderful. These are some of her most iconic photos from her tenure as the character. And on the back we have her action figure in various poses.
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. When you hear the name Elvira, only one person comes to mind. Horror icon and quintessential symbol of all things spooky. The one and only Mistress of the Dark.
Ah, yes. Now Elvira kind of started off in the 80s doing the TV presentator for horror movies during the weekends and stuff like that. And she's been a steady hallmark for the horror genre in general for the past 40 years. Let's take a look at this Red Fright and Boo packaging. It's a little bit more flat on the color. It's not as glossy as, say, the normal version's package is. However, they make up with that with the foil fireworks all over the box, with her photographs in the red dress, which she's saluting America. And the bat is really cool too. I actually bought both of these at the same time from Best Buy, of all places. Best Buy has been carrying a lot of NECA and Super 7 products. It, however, took quite a while for them to get here, because Red Fright and Boo Elvira was late on the ship. Now these figures ultimately are going to be completely identical. They're the same exact action figure, they just have different dresses. They'll have the same accessories in the box with different paint apps. But ultimately the action figures are dead on the same. Now it is going to be a shame to throw these boxes away, but if I want to see pictures of Elvira, I can always go on the internet. Anywho, I've been waiting a long time to get these figures and open them up, so let's get to it. Alright, so both of these figures come with display stands. You are definitely going to have them. She is very top heavy and she has very small feet, so she will tend to topple over. I'm sure if you try you could get her to stand on her own. However, the stands are a necessary inclusion and I'm glad they did it, because they just peg into the bottom of her feet and she stands well. Now we'll look at the accessories first. She comes with an alternate head. The Red Fright and Boo version has a lighter red lipstick than the dark red lipstick on the normal black dress version. The likeness on these heads are just fantastic. They look just like Cassandra Peterson. It's just amazing that NECA is just so good at their likenesses. Next, they both come with this little ugly demon goblet. It's got faces all around the sides. They are the same gold color. However, the one that came with the black dress Elvira has the green smoke coming out of it with little green mouths and red eyes. The Red Fright and Boo version has red eyes, red mouth, and red smoke coming out. These are very nicely sculpted little goblets. Next, they both come with these little daggers. These seem to be completely identical to each other, but these would go in the little sash on the front of her dress. And lastly, she comes with these awesomely sculpted, oversized skulls with melting candles and a snake running through the back of the mouth and the top of the head. A spider crawling around on the side. These are very nicely done accessories. They're very detailed. They're painted well. The snake on this version isn't exactly painted completely, but this one, the Red Fright and Boo version, is painted almost perfectly, and it comes with a little bit of extra red wax running down the skull. As you can see, the stands just peg into the bottom of her feet, and they have her little Elvira signature on the base. The dress is a very soft to the touch cloth. It's very high quality. It fits the body very well. I like how they were able to get it tight to the figure, and for the most part they hide a lot of the seams. I wish they would have been able to hide the seam on the front a little bit better and down the front of the skirt, but you're very limited with what you can accomplish with miniatures and clothes for them. This is very soft, very pliable. It has a little bit of stretch to it so that when you pose the figure it won't get bunched up too bad. It's actually very nice and stretchy. It's cut very well. There's nothing terribly out of place. The only concern I might have in the future with this product is the faux leather belt. These little leathery looking accessories tend to dry out, flake, and crumble and crack over time, even if they're meant in box, so keep that in mind. It is held on by Velcro, so if you wanted to remove it, I guess you could. I don't know what purpose you would have to remove the belt, but if you didn't like it the way it looked, it doesn't look bad without it. In fact, I think it might look a little bit better without it. It is removable, and it doesn't distract or detract from the figure. As far as paint apps are concerned, as mentioned, the paint apps on this figure are fantastic. Really, the only paint apps you see are going to be on the face and eyes. She's blushed very well. The lipstick is very clean. Her teeth are painted very well. The eyes are painted very well. The eyeliner, everything's painted very well, even down to the mole on her cheek. She does have a black bracelet that is a separate piece put over the wrist, and her ring is painted. It's not perfectly clean, but it is painted, and her nails are painted on all her fingers, where she has her spiked bracelet, which has painted studs and looks decent, and her nails are again painted. Her high heels are painted. They're a little sloppy. They're not exactly perfect. Of course, the black dress version has this pantyhose look, and that is just a semi-dark wash over the legs of the figure, which look fine until you pose the joints, and then you'll see the bare spots behind the joints and the ankles where the hinges are. Doesn't look very good with those little spots running through. Of course, if you're a good painter, you could probably find a way to touch that up and make it look better. If you pull the dress up, if you're so inclined, you can get a nice look at the construction of the hips. This is a very ugly hip construction. I don't think you're going to be pulling the dress up for any real reason, other than to try to pose the legs without damaging the dress very much. But it's very doll-like in construction. It is on a ball joint. If you wanted to, she could pose very well. Her leg articulation is very good. It goes pretty full ranged up, down, around. Of course, she's got a thigh cut, the knee hinge, and a rocker hinged ankle. And none of her joints seem to be very tight. She has some black panties, I guess, painted on, if you want to call them that. I would be cautious about storing or dropping this figure, as you nick this paint on the leg, it's going to look really bad. As is, pull the dress down, everything's fine and dandy. She's got head articulation at the neck. It's going to be semi-limited from the hair, but the hair is very pliable, even on the back, so you can get her to pose. She has a very long neck too. She does not have a waist cut, but she does have a waist bobble, and it is very clean and very tight. She can move very well. And her shoulders are a bit wonky. I don't know if you can get down. You see her shoulders have a simple hinge and swivel. She has very thin elbows though, so be cautious. You want to grab her up at the upper arm when posing her. and they tend to be very tight to swivel forward. Now, as far as her elbow is concerned, it is a double jointed elbow, so she should be able to break the 90. She can reach and touch her face, which is a nice bonus. She can brush her hair. That's pretty cool. I like the double jointed elbow. It's well hidden. You're not going to see it. Lots of times those double joints are kind of ugly, but the dress hides it very well. And of course she has swivel and hinged hands. She's very good quality construction. There's very little issues that I can see. She also has a bicep swivel at the top of her arm, so be cautious of that when posing her arms. But other than that, she moves pretty good. Pretty good articulation, if I must say so. So if you wanted to swap heads, you grab her giant noggin, pop it off, and then you could pop on her winking head. It's very tight. You might want to heat this thing up before. But you can get it on there. And have her winking at you. This is a very wonderful looking figure, I gotta say. The articulation's fantastic. The paint apps are very clean. The accessories are not too much, not too little. Be cautious with this Velcro. If it snags... Oh my gosh, I made a mistake. If those little Velcro hooks snag this dress, it is going to put little snags in it. Oh no. Let go. Let go. Don't snag the dress. Oh, that's ruined. Okay. I would advise you not to take the belt off, as that Velcro is very unforgiving if it grabs that stretchy cloth material. So you can get her to stand on her own, however she's probably not going to stay that way. Give her a knife and her goblet. Let's bring in the Red Fright and Boo version. Now this dress is not going to be a stretchy fabric. You're going to have to be very careful with this fabric. It has this lovely glittery scaling all over it. It's very nice looking fabric. However, it is very cheap to the feel. It is not going to be stretchy by any means. So you're going to want to be careful when posing this version of Elvira, as you don't want to stretch it and tear it. Just from the chest, you can already see from the manufacturer that the dress was pulled, and you can sort of see through it. That's not very good. So be cautious with this version when posing her, but she has the same articulation. Her paint apps are just as good. Everything is pretty much exactly the same, even the little wristbands on her wrist. If you were so inclined to pull the sleeves up and look at them, you can. But keep in mind the fragility of this dress. She has the same Velcro belt. I'm not going to bother removing that. This isn't exactly that faux leather, but I can still see it sort of flaking off at some point in the future. Hopefully a long time down the line. But her articulation is going to be exactly the same. She can get nice posing. I would pose her very slowly and gently and lightly. I wouldn't put her in poses that are going to stress the dress in the elbows, because it will permanently damage the dress. Her legs are not painted. These are a clean flesh tone leg, which is nice. I think I like that better, or at least it goes well with this version. You're not going to see that big jump in the joints from the color change. Again, she is very top heavy because of the solid hair. Even with the stand, you're going to be limited to like certain poses, because even on the stand, she can overweigh the stand and tip over. Give her her goblet. She looks fantastic. This is a wonderful action figure. These are fantastic in quality. Paint apps. The dresses are amazingly cut and fitted to the action figure. It's unbelievable that they can mass produce something on this scale with this level of quality and at the price point. These were $35 a piece, which is pretty good for a collector quality action figure these days. If you are interested in the scale, bring in the tape measure, and she is almost at 9 inches to the top of her hair. To the top of her actual head, she's 8 inches tall, so she is an 8-inch scale toy. And just because I have had her out recently, bring in Super 7's Rita Repulsa, and you can see the massive scale difference. She is a 6-inch scale figure, but for some reason she's not too out of place because, I don't know, I always imagined Elvira being a giantess. So it's crazy. She's roughly on scale with the Super 7 Zords and monsters. She is going to definitely overpower any 6 or 7-inch scale action figure line like Marvel Legends or Classified. But she's going to look wonderful on your shelf regardless. You can set her in the back behind everybody and you're going to be able to see her clearly. I love these campy characters from that time period, and these figures are just wonderful. The accessories are great. The dresses are great. The paint is great. The articulation is great. NECA keeps hitting it out of the park with their releases. Like, they used to have a very bad track record with quality control, and they seem to have continued to improve on that, especially in the last few years. I hope other companies with similar quality control issues can follow suit with release dates and making their figures look just like their promo images. NECA is always right on point with their promotional images of their action figures. If they show you a picture of an item coming up, that figure or item is going to probably look 99.9% just like the promo images, which is insane in the action figure market. It's almost unheard of. But Cassandra Peterson's Elvira is a very iconic persona. It's a persona that really outshines the actress's persona, and there's very few characters that have been able to do that. Two that come to mind are Paul Rubin's Pee Wee Herman and Jim Varney's Ernest P. Worrell. Anyway, this has been an unboxing and review of NECA Toys, Real Toys, Elvira, and Elvira Red Fright and Boo. And I am UR Supreme Toys. Thank you so much for watching.